this is Bad Influence. Our main review this week is Prince of Persia on the SNES.
And I'll be meeting Igor, a robot who taught himself to walk. Down, Igor! Sit!
And Z reports from the biggest computer games show in the universe. At least, he will if we can tear him away from that monitor.
But before all of that rubbish, here is a very big number. No, not like that. Like this. 999,999,900. But what does it mean? Is it the amount of fans that I've got? No, I've got a lot more than that. Is it perchance the amount of dosh Violet spends on hair dye each week? No. Is it the number of minutes Andy Crane is on the telly each week? Well, maybe. But it's also the number of points you'll start the game with if you use this brilliant cheat for Dragon's Fury on the Mega Drive. Simply type in ALCLAE8ECK and press start. And away you go. 999999900. And also, you get 21 balls. No, not like that, stupid.
If you're an avid follower of Namrud, you may be pleased to hear that you don't actually have to become an inadequate human being in order to be good at cheats. This is an electronic Namrud, a cheat device called a Game Genie. You can use it to do loads of different cheats on various games on the Mega Drive and soon on the Game Boy. And this book comes with it to tell you all the different cheats. For example, you can have more ammunition, extra continues, change your speed, get infinite lives, or you can even make the games harder, but I'm not going to demonstrate that right now. Basically, you put your game into the Game Genie and your Game Genie into your machine. And when you turn it on, this master screen comes up and you have to put the codes in. So, for my game, which is Batman, I've put in the master code already and I need to put in another one. I think I'll make it so that punches, knives and guns don't hurt him. And the code for that is B2AT CA46. So I can put that in with my joypad. B2AT CA46. Now if I turn that on, and while it's booting up, I'll just tell you there's a switch on the side here which means that if you want to decide not to use the cheats, you can turn them off, or then you can turn them on again later. Now we're here in Gotham City and I'm not going to punch or hit or anything like that and see if they harm me. Nope, I'm immune to it all. I'm just going to walk right through to the end of the level.
She can do that normally, actually. She doesn't need a device like that. But how do they work? Well, this one's a bit like the Game Genie. This is called an action replay. It'll run on most computers and consoles. The game we've plugged into it, I'm sure you'll recognise as the Addams Family. But this bit of the Addams Family you probably won't recognise. This is actually the computer program that makes the whole game run. Now, when your game starts, of course, you have 5 lives for your character. And if you look in the program, you can see where those 5 lives are here. It says 5, player 1, number of lives. If you put in a cheat for infinite lives, the bit of the program that would normally knock off a life when you get killed doesn't run. It gets bypassed, if you like, so the lives always stay at 5. But how does the action replay know which bit of the program to bypass? Well, if we go to the trainer screen, this is where you can actually start to do your own cheats. You can do live cheats or timer cheats. You can cheat with the energy bar, change your status, but it's lives that I'm interested in. In fact, this is quite a lengthy process, but earlier on today, I did actually teach the action replay how to give me infinite lives in the Addams Family. First, I told the action replay that I had 5 lives. It then found all the places in the program where the number 5 appeared. There were actually too many to list. Then I played the game for a bit until I lost a life. I told the action replay that I now had just 4 lives. It then looked at all the places in the program where 5 had changed to 4 and worked out the code to give me infinite lives. 7E00AC05. So with this code in, even when I die, I always have got 5 lives. Simple, eh? A word of warning though, none of these cheat devices are approved in the UK by the major console manufacturers. So in the unlikely event that your SNES or your Mega Drive blows up while one of these is plugged in, your guarantee won't be valid. So be careful.
I will be. Don't forget that if you haven't got a cheat device, all Namrud's cheats and tips appear in the data blast at the end of the programme. But now for this week's main game review, it's Prince of Persia on the SNES. It's a classic game that's been around on the Amiga for a couple of years, in which you play a prince who's got to negotiate his way around a labyrinth of dingy dungeons in order to reach his goal. You guessed it, he's got to save a damsel in distress. Here's Prince Lakesh.
There's no other game like it. It was brilliant on the Amiga, but this version is bigger, better and faster. This guard's quite hard to beat because of the moving platform. After you've beaten him, you've got to jump quickly and avoid the spikes at the end. You've got to have real patience when you're playing this game. You've got to come back to a level time and time again to progress. This part's quite difficult. You've got to tiptoe past these choppers, otherwise you'll be soon crushed. The animation and graphics are brilliant. The way that he moves has been digitized from a real person, and so it adds a lot of realism to the game. This is the sumo wrestler, and he's one of the hardest guards to beat. He attacks well, and defends as well. Look at the quality to detail in the background and the characters. The way he swipes is amazing. He just left a fat mess on the floor. I'd definitely buy Prince of Persia. The levels are massive, and there are many of them. I'd rate it 5 stars. Probably the best game on the Super NES right now.
The main character is fantastic and the game is really great looking. The problem is though, you have to be pretty skillful because it's a very challenging game.
The graphics are the best I've seen yet on this system. You need real skill and patience to get anywhere quickly.
And so the final scores for Prince of Persia. The boys gave it an excellent 4 out of 5, and the girls liked it just as much. They gave it 4 out of 5 as well.
Last week, our American reporter Z Wright visited the most important computer and video game show in the world. Held every year in Las Vegas, it features everything from washing machines to home cinema. But Z concentrated on games and gadgets. Here's his report.
Hi, and welcome to Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world and the venue for the huge Consumer Electronics Show, or CES for short. This is the place where all the video game producers get to show off their latest and hottest stuff. Nintendo is very big in America. Their exhibits take up a whole room. The game that everybody wants to play now is Star Fox, a new revolutionary game. Let's check it out. It's revolutionary because it contains an extra microprocessor called the Super FX chip inside the game cartridge. This means that the Super Nintendo can perform better than ever before. The game has 3D graphics, and while you're playing, the Super FX chip redraws the screen moment by moment. This makes the gameplay very fast and fluid. Oh man, the graphics are unbelievable. It's hard. This is mad hard. Ooh. You play Fox McCloud, a space mercenary out to save the universe. 3 routes take you to 10 different planets. There's also a couple of secret levels built in, especially for expert players. This summer, Game Boy fans on both sides of the Atlantic have a chance to play their first ever Zelda game, Link's Awakening. In this game, the hero Link, familiar to Super Nintendo players, will have to battle his way through a large world of dungeons, secrets, and adventures. There's lots of old characters here, plus some new ones too.
Yo, Z! How you doing?
Fine, Mario. What's new with you?
Hey, have you and the guys at Bad Influence heard about my first movie, Super Mario Brothers? It's out in May, and I'm the star, played by Bob Hoskins, you know?
Yeah, we've heard about it, but we haven't seen anything of it.
Oh, yeah? Well, just take a look at this.
Mario!
Luigi!
Come on! You want to give us the rock bag, lady?
Come and get it, big boy.
Flowers. You told me to go after her. Yeah, for a date, not into another world.
Alien species escaping from Metro
Aliens?
City.
Oh, we gotta deal with aliens too? Luigi, we're the aliens!
This is the activator, an 8-sided floor pad which creates an invisible wall of infrared light. When a beam is broken, it makes a musical chord. Sega has invented a way to play video games, not with a controller pad, but using your whole body. I'm playing Streets of Rage 2 like I've never played it before. The activator translates my movements into the movements of my character, Axel. When I kick, Axel kicks too. Different and definitely not for couch potatoes. Yeah. Oh. 3DO is basically an interactive CD system, but the word is is set to become a standard format like audio cassettes or VHS. So, what does it do? Well, it does a lot. This is a prototype multiplayer. It'll play regular audio CDs, photo CDs, and games. 3DO can move graphics around much quicker than a PC. Here's the proof. It can store and manipulate pictures in a number of ways. It can add many layered backgrounds and foregrounds, both matte and see-through. Here I can move the figure around using the joypad and alter the perspective. These techniques are being developed for interactive movies on 3DO machines. 3DO will be launched in America in October and in Britain in April '94. These demos just show the basic abilities of the system, so there's a way to go. But the possibilities are endless. I'm gonna take this for a little war. This is Z-Right for Bad Influence in Las Vegas. See ya.
Right, techie furtlers, pay attention. The word of the week is Pong. Now, Pong was the name of the very first video arcade game invented by Atari in America. It was a kind of a black and white tennis game that had two white lines as rackets and a white splodge as a ball. On the other hand, there's Ping, which is the noise your Game Boy makes when you switch it on. And then, of course, we've got Pang. Now, Pang is the name of the game on the Amiga for which I'm about to reveal this brilliant cheat. All you do is type in, "What a nice sheet," on the map screen, and you'll be able to skip levels. Ha! And then, of course, there's Peng, which is half a penguin. Yes. So, there's a penguin.
Mario and Yoshi is a Tetris-y sort of game. You have to control the steady torrent of characters falling from the top of the screen. If you fill up, you've lost. Here's Amanda.
The first time that I saw this game, I thought it was a poor copy of Tetris. But now that I've played it, I know it isn't. It's an easy game to pick up, and it's a great game to play. You control the game by moving Mario around so the characters land on different trays. Here I am trying to get identical characters to land on each other to make them disappear. If you match the top and the bottom bits of Yoshi's egg, Yoshi then hatches. This gives you bonus points. This is the other game. You start with characters already on the screen, and the object is to clear them. Both games have 5 levels and 2 speeds, and they're all pretty similar. I've been playing this game non-stop for a week now, and I'm hooked. I'd buy it.
This game's okay for a little while, but gets boring very quickly. It's not as addictive as Tetris.
The box is tempting, but the game's a bit disappointing. It's the worst Mario game I've ever seen.
And the scores for Mario and Yoshi, the boys gave it a poor 2 out of 5. The girls liked it a bit more, but not much, an average 3 out of 5.
Rev up for Road Rash 2, a bikers race game with real power. You're up against some pretty nasty competition, including some fine, happy traffic cops. Here's John Pierre.
This is a quality game with great graphics and playability. It's just a shame that it's so much like the original. As you probably know, you can punch and kick and backhand. The fights are pretty horrific, especially if you fall off. Whoa, just fallen off. I've got to get back on my bike if I want to win the race. It doesn't look like I'm going to though. If you do win a race, you get prize money, which you can buy a new bike. This is the main difference between Road Rash 2 and the original. You can now play 2 players simultaneously. If I didn't have Road Rash 1, I'd buy this. It's one of the best racing games around.
I kept getting busted by the police. It's not my kind of game, so I wouldn't buy it, but it's a very good game and it's fun to play.
This game looks and sounds great. You need a certain amount of skill to get through it, but it's easy to get into.
And the scores for Road Rash 2, the boys gave it 4 out of 5, and the girls didn't like it so much. They gave it an average 3 out of 5.
When you hear the word robot, what do you think of? R2-D2 or C-3PO from Star Wars, or maybe even metal people like these? In the early days of robots, the designers tried to build them with everything they'd ever need to know already programmed in. But it was impossible. Even simple things like walking were too difficult for the robots to cope with. These early prototypes are actually remote controlled by the engineers. But now meet my mate Igor, a brand new breed of robot. He's very simply constructed. He's got 4 legs driven by compressed air that can either move up or down, or backwards or forwards. The difference with Igor is that he wasn't programmed to walk. He was programmed to teach himself how to walk. That's the clever bit. They set him going, they went away for a very, very, very long tea break, and when they came back, Igor was hopping mad. But what makes Igor tick? Well, he was built and programmed by Martin, who's over here. Welcome to the programme.
Thanks, Andy.
How does he learn then, Igor?
Well, Igor has a learning system inside this computer here, and what that does when we first switch him on is it takes guesses as to what to do next. So I score him from the keyboard and tell him how well he did, and he tries moves like that to see if he can improve his performance.
I see. And how long does it take him to learn how to walk?
Oh, it can take days.
I see. But it's just like you or I learning how to walk when you were tiddly tiny. You try something out, if you fall down, you've got it wrong, you think, oh no, that's no good, you try something else until you get better and better and better, and then like Igor, you can learn to walk. Now, I know, Martin, that you built him and designed him. How did you expect him to walk?
If we give him a second, we'll ask him to show us.
Oh, come on then, Igor, you're on telly now. Show us how you were supposed to walk.
This is how he was supposed to walk. Oh, dear.
Stand up!
When he's not drunk.
He's been on the Castrol again, hasn't he? Go on.
There he goes. And what he's doing is he's moving diagonally opposite legs, one after another.
Oh, but that's what you as a human thought Igor would walk like.
That's right,
but
and it doesn't work
he's
very
a
well.
machine. How did he walk?
Well, he learned to walk like this, more like a frog. There you go.
Incredible.
We didn't expect he could do that.
No, never worked with children, animals, or robots.
Just one burst of energy and my robot will be finished. It'll do all the boring things for me, and I'll have time for the more important things in life, like improving my score on Nemesis on the Game Boy. And here's how you, robotless slimy fertilers, can improve your scores. Simply, pause the game and then press up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A. You'll start the game with loads of power-ups and... this looks fun. Have you got Barbie Goes Shopping? I think it needs a bit more fertiling.
Nam with his only friend there. If you want to read the data blast, set your video recorder now. But first, a special sneak preview of the Comic Relief game. On the 12th of March, Comic Relief are holding their 4th Red Nose Day, and they're hoping to raise £500,000 with the release of a computer game called Sleepwalker, and here it is for the first time ever on telly. The idea is that you play this dog called Ralph, and he's got to stop his master Lee from getting into trouble. Lee's sleepwalking, and Ralph has to go on ahead to get rid of all the dangers that might wake Lee up. And if he gets waked up, that's the end of your go. So I've now got him into this safe area so that I can take Ralph to go along and get rid of all the dangers. The other thing to look out for are various different letters around the screen. And if you can find the letters that make up the word comic, you get to special bonus rounds. It also features the voice of Lenny Henry, and lots of fine comics have worked on it. It's available on the Commodore 64, the ST, the PC and the Amiga, priced between £15 to £30, and for every game sold, £4.32 goes to Comic Relief. More details will be in the data blast at the end of the programme.
Good game. Now, last week we had copies of the classic game Lemmings to give away as the competition prize, 5 indeed, and the winners' names are going across the bottom of the screen now. Well done. We wanted to know whether a lemming was a type of guinea pig, squirrel or rat. And interestingly enough, a lemming is a type of rat.
This week's competition prize is 5 Road Rash 2 leather jackets, as demonstrated by the lovely Andy, and 5 Road Rash 2 games. The question's this: which science fiction author invented the 3 laws of robotics?
If you think you know, send your answer on a postcard or stuck down envelope to reach us by next Monday at the latest, please, to the usual Bad Influence address. I hope this jacket fits you better than it fits me.
See ya.
Bye-bye.